What is up, guys? It's Hawk Requiem, and today we're going to be going over the top 10 things I wish I would have known going into Death Stranding Director's Cut. These are a few things that I wish I would have known starting out, and number one, we have backpack customization. They don't really outright tell you much when it comes to backpack customization because all you really have to go off of is the dots to use as to like where to place the equipment. And as you might already know, you can only really place either 5 grenade pouches, 10 grenade pouches, or 1 to 2 batteries, right? Like this setup I have going on over here. But what I figured is actually you can place 2 extra grenade pouches and a sticker for maximum space management. That way, not only can you place a sticker, whichever one you want, you can also carry a maximum amount of grenades. You will never run out. Even with the base 5, you will never run out, but this is just overkill at that point. Honestly, do this if you want to. Also, you can place a windmill to help soothe BB down, and it works pretty negligibly, but hey, I mean, might as well. For tip number 2, if you haven't already been, drink 3 energy drinks every single time that you go into the private room before you leave. If you do this, it will maximize your stamina that you can get. You can get this extra stamina. Always useful for missions. Helps your recovery rate, it helps all kinds of stuff. It's just, you should never not drink at least the 3 energy drinks. Always make sure you at least do that. And for tip number 3, make sure whenever you go to the delivery terminal to check the claim cargo area. You can see players dropped cargo here, and they go to some destinations you'd probably already go on your way. Very easy way to farm the likes and to get your stars up. At least I think it gets your stars up. But, it's always good to grab them if you have space, especially if you have a car to bring or if you have something else. And for tip number 4, whenever you're out and about and you see an auto-paver, make sure that you always take a mental note of how much materials you need to build it. You can also see that on your map if you just hover over the icon. I don't have a clip showing that, but, here we are. And you can usually just park your car next to it and just dump all the metals and ceramics and chiral crystals, all that you need to build the road. But make sure you're always on top of building them. They are very useful. You don't really got to put any brain power to think about where to build them because they're already laid out for you. And traveling on them kind of makes it so your battery doesn't get depleted as fast. They're all just very good to, go from point A to point B on. Obviously, because, they're roads. Of course you would want roads in a game like that. But yeah, just stay on top of building them, build them wherever you can, or hold them for later. Just make sure to keep a mental note of, which ones are the closest to being filled. Because other players can fill them for you, and most that you'll come across are already halfway built. So yeah, that's tip 4. And speaking of roads, tip 5 also kind of tackles the roads. Now, if you're on foot and not on vehicle, like I touched on before, you can actually conserve your battery as long as you're in the middle of the road. Now, if you drive on the left or walk on the left or right, it will do nothing. But if you walk in this little area, it'll tell you that you're on the grid. And you can honestly just sprint forever. Doesn't matter how much you're carrying. If you got the exo legs on, you can just sprint without consuming battery. It's very useful. As you can see here, I sprinted because my car broke down from this mule camp all the way down to the distribution center, with no problem at all. Most people actually put signs on the road too, which he's kind of like a little bonus tip for tip 5. Signs, once you run through them, replenish your stamina fully, and sometimes can make your BB happy, which will give it buffs and stuff that I'll touch on in another tip. But yeah, that's tip 5. And tip 6 is actually about mule camps, like I touched on just a second ago. Now, these turrets that they man, they are actually non-lethal, which means that if they shoot you, they will not create a void out, they'll just knock you out. Same thing if you use them. You can kind of just hop on one to your heart's content, just start blasting everyone in there and not have to worry about incinerating them. Very easy way to clear them out. But remember, they are used against you too. Like in this clip right here. They're pretty slow though, so dodging and weaving and stuff, you can easily not get shot. And if they hit you, they do minimal damage, so honestly, don't even really sweat it. You can use moves like jumping and the crouch button to, you know, like, it's one of my favorite moves. You do like a little spread eagle thing, and it hits a pretty wide area. Very good for little encounters like 1v1s and whatever. But yeah, don't be afraid to hop on these if the mules are giving you trouble. You can just knock them all out with the turret. And tip 7 is also about the mule camps. You'll find these cars, which are the earliest form of the truck that you will find in the game. They actually have horrible storage. I mean, pretty decent for like little loads and stuff, but if you try to hold anything in bulk, you'll just not be able to in Flounder. So it's very annoying whenever you find these. Like the other Bridges trucks, they're fine. You can hold a mind-numbingly amount of stuff, okay? Like, it's crazy, but yeah, in this clip, I kind of have a space problem where I have to just unload this entire truck and go on foot and use a carrier, but that actually brings me into the next tip that I'll touch on right now, which is tip 8, which is actually all about the floating carrier. Now, the floating carrier can hold also a lot of stuff, and you can hold up to 2. It doubles as a sled if you try to go down slopes and stuff, if it's empty and you could just get on it, but it has to be tethered to you. Now, as you can see in this clip, you can carry these containers anywhere, and you obviously can't, you know, use it in a vehicle because you got to take it off, but they're portable. You can just put them on your back. All around a very useful gadget. You can make them pretty early in the game, and the higher tiers are a little bit later if you follow quest lines and stuff, but yeah, they're immensely useful and a must-have on long hauls. Which brings me to tip 9, which is actually about the reverse trike. There's 2 different versions. There's the long-range one that you unlock a little bit later than the normal one, and the normal one. The long-range one has like double the battery life, and the normal one, you can actually attach cargo to the back. I think about 4 pieces per bike, I want to say, 2 on each side, or it could be 4 on each side, depending on how light the load is, but you can cram quite a decent amount of cargo on the back of the bike. Very good for the beginning. But the tip is, you can actually boost, and when you boost, if you jump, you go way higher than you usually do. Additionally, if you pop the wheelie by just holding back on the stick or back on the keyboard, you can use that to traverse slopes and to traverse mountainous areas very easily. It keeps you on that back wheel, and you can kind of put it on a swivel to kind of anchor it wherever you want. Very useful, and I highly recommend bringing a bike if you don't want to walk up a mountain. Fair warning though, it is kind of finicky as it should be, but you know what? You can deal with it. It's good. It's not too hard. Just takes a little bit of practice, that's all. And for the final tip, tip 10, they're actually combined for this. It's all about recycling. You can recycle used items at any kind of terminal, even the prepper ones, the ones that are part of the actual Bridges network. And that way you can give them more materials to use, and without wasting it by just dropping it on the ground. You can also scrap the actual metals and ceramics themselves, and they will also get added to the inventory. But that combo one, which is, you have a limited amount. If you look at the bottom of my screen, you can see I have 2,356 over on the ceramics. I have to remove those and put those back in my truck for it to actually work. If you don't do that, it won't let you recycle them. And yeah, you have a cap. You can't go past it. But I think that's it for the tips. I hope y'all enjoyed and learned something new. Maybe you didn't, and if you didn't, that's cool. Comment below any other tips that you would like to know of, or if you have questions about the game, and I will try my best to answer them. Y'all have a great day, and goodbye.